Good evening, everyone. I hope this is just as exciting for you all as it is for me. This is our first virtual freshman preview night, so new things every time we come around to this, but we still want to provide you with the same information so that we can have this be a smooth transition and we can prepare you and your students for this move to Willard High School. So welcome. A few more introductions. I am Miss Kim Pere, and I'm going to be the counselor for the class of 2025. And very similar to the middle school, we move with our students, but in the high school, it's for 4 years. So you're going to be able to communicate with me all the way through until your students are graduating, and we will become good friends and parts of this team. The other people that I would love for you to be aware of and feel free to communicate with, the freshman principal, his name is Mr. Colt Blair, and he's newer to Willard, but not to administration and not to education, and you will get to know him a little bit more. If you haven't already received some emails, you'll probably see his name on emails regarding a lot of the freshman transitions that's going to happen in the near future and gearing up for Tiger Kickoff in August, really. The other names that you want to be aware of in the administrator's office, Dr. Kevin Morrison is our building principal here in the high school. And then as your student moves, even though I will remain the counselor for the class of 2025, the administrators do shift off on duties a little bit. And so the sophomore junior administrator is Mr. Tony Sharpstein. And with the senior class, that administrator is Mrs. Stephanie Keysweater. So those are just some names that I would love for you to be familiar with, know who you can reach out to when there are any questions or issues that you have. So there are differences from the middle school to the high school, obviously, and we want to highlight a few, but really we're trying to answer a lot of detailed questions with your students in the scheduling process as all the counseling staff is over in the middle school, and then continuing as we transition through some of our activities and ultimately Tiger Kickoff, ready for that first day of school. Some of the differences to highlight: more homework. The 7 classes that you will have each and every day, you're going to have a lot of core classes as a freshman, and that usually means that you will have some homework in each of those, which can add up. So time management is extremely important, and although it may seem a little overwhelming at first, just getting into a routine and setting aside some time to regulate your day is going to be very, very helpful. There are more class choices here in the high school, which means that you have a little bit more freedom to customize what your experience is going to look like. We encourage you to choose a variety of classes when you do have an opportunity to do so that you can gain from lots of different experiences in high school to help prepare you for everything after. Also, more clubs, activities, organizations, things like that. And those are located on the website for you to peruse and see how you want to get involved, because getting involved is highly, highly encouraged. We just see a lot. We actually have found a lot of students having more academic success when they are plugged in and they're involved in activities and clubs and organizations. That doesn't necessarily mean sports, but obviously including them. Graduation from the high school is solely based on credits. Spending a year of time in the high school is not going to cause you to be a sophomore. You are going to have to pass the classes to earn the credits to progress forward and stay on track for graduation in those 4 years. And that starts with summer school. So starting with summer school, every grade that you earn that is for high school credit is listed on your transcript. And once a grade is issued and on your transcript, it does not come off. So we want you to be serious about each and every class that you take. And if that begins with summer school, we want you to make those decisions wisely. Work must be turned in on time. So every class, every teacher, kind of even from year to year, we've seen different grading styles and we've seen different strategies. But if you come in with the mindset that you're going to stay on top of everything and not wait till the last minute and not ask for extensions, that's setting you up for success. And that's what we encourage all of you to do. So when your students have come home from social studies in the recent weeks, they have brought home paperwork. And I want to go over that with you. If any of your students missed school when we were there, they can get that information. And if you are on launch. We will get you that information. We want you to know what your students are going to receive as far as paperwork. So there is a blue paper, usually stapled on the top of a paper packet, and that letter addresses a couple of frequently asked questions, A+, honors, ICAP, things like that. So that'll be a great piece of information for you, along with the invitation to tonight's presentation, Freshman Preview Night. The yellow form is next, and that's the A+ agreement. It's the first step in allowing us to really track your student as to whether or not they can graduate with an A+ scholarship. The A+ scholarship is not something that you have to commit to as a freshman, definitely not solidifying plans 4 years out, but it gives you the opportunity. And just from my own personal experience, I did the A+ program at Willard High School myself, and I did not use it at college because the college that I went to did not give a scholarship for that, but I still feel like it was a great experience. I loved my mentoring and tutoring over the summer, helping some elementary kids. It was great. So I highly recommend it, even if you are unsure of whether or not you're going to use it. The white form may be the most important of the packet because that is going to select your classes for the entire freshman year of your student schedule. So the pre-enrollment form is the front, and on the back is the ICAP. The ICAP is that 4-year personal plan of study that we encourage students to think through. Part of the selection of your freshman classes is going to depend on then what does that cause you to have to take your sophomore year and your junior year. The fourth page is purple, and that's the instructions for taking the information from the pre-enrollment form and translating that into SIS so that we can verify that you've signed up for the right classes, you have the right signatures, and it's on the computer correctly. And then that finishes this step of scheduling. So the purple instructions can become very important. Once you know what classes you want, you can go ahead and follow those instructions and do that. And then the counselors will always go back and double check as a team with the entire 8th grade class. And then I will go back and check again. So the purple sheet can be very helpful just to save yourself time and get everything taken care of in the way that you think you want to for now. You should also have been coming home with a booklet, and that course planning guide is such a wealth of information. We go over it in the classroom, but we don't go over it word for word, and we definitely don't have the time that we would love to hit every topic in detail. So we want you to read through it at your leisure now, in the next coming weeks. Read through it, dive into it, talk to your students about it, ask questions about it. It's a great piece of information to, again, assist in this transition. The other pieces that your students are being told to look for is via the website, and our course descriptions are on there. A lot of information can be found. So if you lose any of the paperwork or you just want to revisit a form that you've already filled out and turned in, you can find that on our Willard High School Counseling Services website. And there's a little description there of how to get there. But you're going to find this presentation. If you want to reference that again, you're going to find the course descriptions, any forms that you may have misplaced or need again, along with those scheduling instructions and A+ information. So we really hope that you use the school counseling website as a resource. It's a great thing to just check it before you have to reach out and call, because then it delays getting that answer. But don't shy away to ask if you need to. So hitting the highlights, let me try to move my head here. Hitting the highlights for the graduation requirements for this class. They have changed in the last year, and so we want to hit the highlights here that it's a total of 24 graduation credits. A credit is the unit that we measure by a year class. So you'll notice there, if you scroll down and you see that there's 0.5 credit required of health. Health is just a semester class and can be taken in either of the first semesters of freshman year or prior to in summer school, but it's just a 0.5 credit. It's just a semester of that schedule, and it's a one and done. So you can knock out a graduation requirement here pretty quickly and then start working on the others. Along with the credits, there are some tests that are required in order to graduate from Willard High School. The 4 end of course exams are listed there, but your students are very familiar with testing NWEA benchmarks, things like that. So don't let these tests scare you. They are important. They will be listed on your transcript as far as the scores that you obtain, but you should be prepared for them. We trust that your teachers are going to make sure that you have all of the information provided for you to do well on those tests. The exit testing requirement can come from either the ACT or the ASVAB, neither of which you would need to worry about your freshman year. I will talk to you all about when would be a good time to take the practice ACT that we offer, and then when you might want to go ahead and take an official test. And then as you get through the years, if you come to your junior year and decide that the ACT test is not an option that you want to go with, we can provide an ASVAB test for you. We talk about Zello in the classroom, and your students can fill you in on what they've done so far. Each year that a student progresses in our Willard school system, they are added more opportunities through Zello. So it's trying to stay age appropriate. If you think that you've done everything that you can do as an 8th grader in Zello, that's great. But when you become a 9th grader, we're going to give you more opportunities to expand on that. There's a lot of exploration involved in the Zello platform as far as what your interests may be, finding out what your interests might be, and looking at careers, looking at futures, because ultimately, if you know the end goal, we can back up and find the steps to prepare you for that so that we can make sure you're successful. The other good thing about Zello is this is the platform that you can save information, and it will be there from year to year. You can save everything now and it'll be there next year, and so on and so forth. Until your senior year, you hopefully will feel a much better grasp on your planning for after high school. Whatever that may be. That may be on the career side, just getting a job. And that may be college, and that college planning is there for you too. So Zello is a great thing that you've already touched on a little bit, and we're just going to expand on. So should you try to complete the A Plus program? I touched on that a little bit when I talked about where the form was. But if you are not sure if you want to go to college at all, you should still try for the A Plus program. If you know you're planning for a 2-year tech school, trade school, yes, absolutely. If you plan on going to a 4-year high school after school, yeah, you still should. It could mean scholarships. Even though my college that I attended didn't give a scholarship for A+, there's a lot of schools in Missouri that will give you $500, $1,000, and you can renew those from year to year. It could be a great scholarship, even if it's not for full tuition at a 2-year. And ultimately, because plans change and A+ is such a wonderful backup plan, yes. So if you question whether or not you should sign up and try to be tracked and see how it goes, my answer is yes. Think about your A+ eligibility. There are some criteria that you're going to need to meet, but honestly, I feel like everyone that sets this goal as something they want to achieve, it is achievable. So with your GPA, your grade point average, totally dependent on every grade that is on your transcript from freshman year to senior, including this coming summer. If it averages to a 2.5 or higher when you graduate, that is checking the box for the GPA requirement. For your hourly attendance, this is hourly, not daily. So if you typically miss for a dentist appointment or something like that, and you're just gone for an hour or two and you come back, that affects your attendance less than if you were gone the whole day. But ultimately, over all 4 years, if you graduate with a 95% attendance or higher, then that checks this box. And we can track that for you. We can help you figure that out. If there's reasons that you have to be gone, we understand, and there's a buffer for that. So that 5% buffer really equates to about 7 absences a year that would be allowed for whatever you need to do, or if you're sick or things like that, and you'll still be able to reach the 95 by the time you graduate. So don't worry about every single attendance. Just know that attendance is important, not just for A+, but that's how we see students being the most successful in their classes anyway. The 50 is because the A+ program is requiring 50 hours of mentoring or tutoring in order to check this box. We provide a class for students right now to do that, and so it's not completely on your own time, and we can facilitate that and kind of help you get that taken care of, so that should not be an issue to complete before your graduation. The 17 is referring to the math component, and this is probably the one that students do have to pay the most attention to. I mentioned an EOC test earlier for Algebra 1. That is the first opportunity that students have to check the box for math proficiency. If you score a proficient or advanced on the Algebra 1 EOC, the box is checked and you don't have to worry about that number 17. That number 17 is for the students that need to use the ACT test as their way to show math proficiency, and it's just regarding the math section. So a 17 or higher on the math section would check this box. What's not listed on there is good citizenship, because we hope that that is implied. If you have an A+ citizenship violation at any point in your 4 years, you would be removed from eligibility of the A+ program. So let's talk about the A+ benefit just a little bit more. The A+ scholarship at a 2-year tech school, just for an example, OTC, because we have so many students utilize that opportunity. It's a full tuition scholarship. It doesn't pay for books or some of the other fees, but it takes away the cost of tuition. And that is a huge benefit to students, whether they plan on completing a certificate program at OTC or whether they utilize OTC as a stepping stone, taking care of the first 2 years of college and taking general education courses that then transfer to a 4-year university. When we get to your sophomore, junior year, we're going to talk about that a lot more, but just know, again, the A+ program is a great program, whether that's your Plan A, Plan B, or ultimately C, or wherever it tends to fall. So communication. 2020 has definitely changed our communication, and we want to make sure that we communicate in as many ways as possible so that we can make sure all of the team is involved. Parents, teachers, administrators, myself, students. It takes everybody to make the most successful situation. So communication is really, really important. We rely heavily on email, and that's just because we can get that out quickly to the masses and you can reference it later. We use Canvas so that you can access that communication whenever it's convenient to you, and a lot of other technology, whatever the teachers are using to help communicate to their students. We want you to use SIS to stay current on grades as well. It's not just a place that you're going to see your schedule. We want you to see all of those progressions of grades. And you can email teachers. That's kind of the best way to get to them, because we do not have common planning time, and it's not necessarily a guarantee to be able to catch a teacher during a certain time each day. So emailing is always a great way to reach out. We send out progress reports to you, so even if you're not checking SIS frequently, you're going to get progress reports emailed to you throughout the semester. Just know that nothing goes on the transcript. Nothing is seen as a final grade until the end of each semester. So in December and then again in May, you're going to see final grades on your transcript for your student. So for questions and anything you have that might be specific to your student that you're worried about needing help with, that's where I ask you to reach out and start communicating with me. My email is listed here. I look forward to getting to know all of you and helping your students be successful in this transition and for the next 4 years. Hope you guys have a great night.